Hey everyone, welcome to another Monday mail call. Mail call is when I go to my P.O. box and I look to see if there's anything cool in there. For those of you wondering, my P.O. box is Stuplubak Currency, P.O. Box 171, Russell, Illinois 60075. I'll put that down in the description so that in case there was something you wanted to share with me, feel free. Anyway, I actually had this particular item for a couple of weeks, and with this item, this came from my friend Brian, BLK Crypto. For those of you who see the messages and stuff, Brian sent me this, and I thought it was really cool. It says, Seeing America Through Old Paper Money by Richard Dottie with a foreword by Q. David Bowers. Now, some of you may recognize that name. Q. David Bowers is one of the big names in paper money. Pictures from a distant country. And they mean that not in physical distance, but they mean that time-wise. This shows the artwork throughout the course of the 19th century on paper money. You have to remember that paper money wasn't printed by the federal government until the 1860s. Prior to that, you had every bank in the country printing their own money. There was over 8,000 different banks printing money, and you're talking about denominations, 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, but you're also talking weird amounts like a $3 bill, a $6 bill, a $4 bill, a $9 bill. With all those different denominations coming from all these different sources, it's pretty much impossible to try to collect all of them. But what this book does, this book focuses strictly on the artwork. And it's really interesting. Before I dive into the book, let me just show you the back part here. It's a Whitman Publishing book, so that's that. And for those of you who like to look up stuff, there's the ISBN number. So if you type that in, you should be able to find it as well. All right. So Seeing America Through Old Paper Money. The first part of the book is interesting because they go through, as you can see here, the chapters, all kinds of different stuff. I really enjoy starting with chapter 2 and going from there, which is the people in the way, which was the people that were here first. They call it people in the way. And if you were to look there, let's see if we can find this here. In this chapter is focused solely on all the different Native American etchings that were on all of our notes. I mean, it's incredible to see all the different details and stuff showing their place. I don't want to say showing their place because their place is here, but showing them in there, as they were of the time. I think it's kind of appropriate for them to be called in this book the people in the way because that's how they were treated. But there are so many different notes that feature different Indian tribes, different people from different tribes. It's amazing when you see all these different things because, like I said, there's over 8,000 different banks that do all this stuff together. The next chapter was the people in the middle, and this is referring to, of course, the Civil War and slavery. And you can see all kinds of pictures of slaves that were portrayed on our money at the time. And to me, this is it's just amazing. This is the kind of things that banks would put on their money. So yeah, you get a great image of what the country was like just by looking through what images were on our money. The third chapter talks about temptress, saint, and helpmeet, women's identity. These are all the different women that were pictured on money. So yeah, even though we don't put women on our money now, it's not a strange thing to do at all. Now, one of the other things you're going to notice about this book is they're highlighting all of these images, but they're not showing the entire bill because this is the image that's important. It's not important what bill it's on. This is the image that's important. And the book is very good about that, showing the actual image, the actual engraving, to show how intricate and how beautiful these images are. And then there's other chapters in here as well. Childhood and family. So, growing up, seeing all kinds of different children. Then I think there's a technology section. There's images about banks, meaning, how you can trust the person that is issuing this money, because look at how sturdy their buildings are. They had images of dogs showing trust. A child on a lion. I mean, that's a trust thing. But anyway, like I said, the first half breaks down all the different, all kinds of different categories as far as the particular images. Then once you're through the first half of the book, then the book is kind enough to actually show you, as we go a little bit further back in here, it shows you the actual notes, full size, that all of these images came from. So if you saw an image early on in the book that you were really impressed with, you can then thumb through the back of the book and you're able to find the exact note that it came from, and now you can go try to hunt down that particular note. So not only does it give you the brief little history of the image itself, but then it also helps you find it on any particular note. Now, as far as the notes go, the images were taken off of 344 different notes. So these are not obviously all the notes, not with over 8,000 different people that are printing stuff. But like I said, the images that they chose to use were powerful enough to make this book. And if you wanted to own one of these notes with those images, this is how you would find it. Simply going to the back, matching the image, and then you know where to go. So it's a really cool, I hate to say coffee table book, but that's essentially what it is. It's a great book to thumb through, and when you spot something interesting, then you jump to the back to see what note it's on, and then you can start looking for those notes. So I'm sure that over the next few months and years, I will be adding a lot more obsolete currency to my collection based on this particular book. So Brian, thank you very much for sending this to me. It's very fascinating, it's very interesting, and is setting a bunch of new goals for me and my collection. All right guys, thanks for watching. Tune in next Monday for another Monday mail call. I'll see you then.